Hello and welcome to our live today. A little bit late. We're just supposed to start yesterday, but things happen. So today's our day. So today we are talking about GMOs, what you should know. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cheryl. I am a fitness trainer of over 24-ish years now. And I'm on my own health journey to get super healthy, super fit, and lose the flab from from menopause. Anyway, that's me, and I'll introduce Sandy here.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and I've been in health and wellness business for well over 10 years. And I had my own health journey, and my goal is the same: be healthy and fit. And not only that, but help others be healthy and fit too. So we always pick a topic that is kind of out there and that people are curious about, or people will send in stuff to us, what's this, what's that. So um, thanks for being here. And yeah, so here we go.
Here we
GMO.
go. GMO, here we go. So GMOs, what you should know. So what is GMO? So genetically modified organisms. So genetically modified foods that are foods grown from seeds that have their DNA changed, usually through the addition of genes from another organism. Now, why they did this? The way back when they said to have better quality of food and to feed the less populated or the less fortunate people who didn't have a lot of food. So it started like way back when. I think when I say way back when, it's probably not that way back. I think in the 60s, 70s. So probably not way back when, but um, it probably wasn't as large scale as it is now, for sure.
And what is the intention of use? This is all very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to enhance the normal characteristics by adding a beneficial trait to a particular crop. GM foods provide advantages to either the producer or consumer, and the benefits include resistance of disease caused by insects or viruses, ability to grow well with the use of pesticides, resistance to poor weather such as frost or drought, slower ripening or increased durability, which causes less bruising, and this is an asset for when you're exporting foods. Enhanced nutrition content, example in Europe, vitamin A, in golden rice, decreased food waste and lower food costs for consumers. So it all sounds like, wow, really good, eh?
Yeah, yeah, they're all just taking all the food into consideration, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand, why, they want the food to last while it's shipping and stuff. But have you ever been to someplace tropical and had a fruit, like fresh fruit? It tastes totally different. Like if
Oh,
you
yeah.
pick it from a tree, it tastes totally different than what you would get in the grocery store. I know personally that I have had food in other countries, and it tastes totally different. It almost tastes like it did when I was a kid. So just
Wow.
throw that out there. But yeah, the intention of this, as you can see, they're talking about food and uh, having the food for basically to feed everybody, and so that's kind of how the genetic, I don't know, what do you want to call it? The genetics kind of came in to be the genetically modified organisms for that reason. But there's a flaw in this because it talks about feeding the hungry and stuff like that, but we still have that problem, right? So it hasn't solved the problem that it originally it was kind of meant for. And then there's a problem, right? Because it talks about all that, but that so there lies the problem with the food that's been genetically modified outside of nature's boundaries. The genetics of a plant not only affect its color, taste, yield, and nutrient quality, they likely the they likely affect the way the food goes to work in the human body. And this is what I'm concerned about. Um, like I said, things taste different if you're in, for example, a third world country, or maybe not a first world country, than they do here. So what's the nutrient content, and what is that doing to our insides? um, this whole topic I thought was going to be easy peasy. There'd be lots of information. I was actually shocked that I had to go digging. That everybody, like the FDA, oh no, it's everything's fine. Unfortunately, the studies that they've done have been on animals, and guess what? We are the guinea pigs. So we don't. They're they have no proof that these foods are safe and no data to indicate the short-term and long-term effects on human health, and that itself is scary. That's totally scary.
Mhm. Yes, and medical professions that claim there's a health link to eating these foods' potential health effects. Introduction of new allergens into crops could result in increased rates of allergies and allergy related health conditions. Bacteria in our guts could pick up antibiotic resistant genes found in many GM foods that have been spiced with antibiotics, irritable bowel disease, and intestinal permeability, aka, which is the leaky gut syndrome, which means not only food allergies, but malabsorption of nutrients, gut inflammation, which is huge, and a disrupted microbiome. Animal studies indicate GM foods may cause toxic effects on the liver, kidneys, pancreas, and reproductive system. Animal studies show that DNA in food can travel into organs throughout the body, even into the fetus. The risks to children and fetuses may be greater because their digestive and neurological systems are not fully developed yet.
Mm-hmm. Like this whole thing, it was hard to find. It
Yeah.
was we actually had to go and look at doctors, naturopaths and doctors to find out what their concerns are. People who study food and nutrition to find this information because it wasn't readily available because the studies have been done on animals. And
Yeah.
so, when you look at, and one of the things at the very bottom here, and one doctor showed a correlation. She couldn't say it was like it wasn't direct, but she did, there's a correlation, and she had a whole bunch of graphs showing, too much for this presentation, but showing that the increase in diseases, which it could be liver disease or metabolic syndrome or diabetes or whatever. So it continually is going up, and the more GMO crops are going in the same thing. So she compared all these different ones. But because there's no actual studies, there's no studies, she can't corroborate it. But she'd said there's a correlation between the number of diseases and the component of worsening chronic illnesses. So, having seen that, like it's an eye opener when you start really, really looking at. I mean, I've kind of always thought this too, right? Why is all of a sudden everybody allergic to everything? Like what is going on? Like in my day, there was no peanut allergies. Like there was no, like it was very rare that you were allergic to something. And now it's like all these new allergens and things are kind of
Mhm.
rearing their ugly head, sort of thing. So that, yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult to find, and it took like some good research.
Yeah.
But there's hope. There's always hope.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And you talk about your gut and the microbiome. Um, there's it's called like Firmiculatus phyla within your gut, and if you have that, you can have a tendency to be overweight or obese. And if you have it's called a bacteriolitis. If you have that, you can tend to be leaner. And what the GMO does, it suggests that the GMO can affect that, right? So if you eat more fiber is good for the good bacteria, if you want to say, and then carbs and sugars also affect that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah, cut out most prevalent GMO foods: soy, corn, and wheat. If you eat these foods, they might either say non-GMO on the label or organic. Cut out processed foods. Most processed foods contain derivatives of soy, corn, even if they don't use those actual terms on the label, and you can bet that the derivatives from the are from genetically modified crops.
Yeah. So some of the other words I use, and I saw this on labels when I was researching, was bioengineered.
Oh, right.
Right? They'll say, or derived from bioengineered, meaning they're using a component in that ingredient, in whatever that is, that says bioengineered. And so one example was like a refried beans. On there, it said bioengineered, and or from bioengineered. And so where you would find this in the grocery store, for corn, it could be corn-based cereals, snack foods like cornflakes, corn syrup, corn oil, the corn, so corn, processed foods sweetened with glucose, fructose, eggs, milk, meat, sweet corn, canola, which is canola oil. You might be in eggs, milk, or meat. Soy, obviously tofu, soy beverages, soy-based protein, soy oil, eggs, meat, milk, and meat, and sugar beet could be found in sugar. So those are the common things, and these are for Canada. And these are grown in Canada. These ones are grown in Canada. And then some stuff we get from the US to Canada, and those aren't grown here, but can have GMOs as well. And those are cottonseed oil, papaya, squash, milk products such as skim milk powder. So those are some places that you might find. So if you are buying like packages of this, that, and everything else, it's really good to start looking at labels and just seeing if there is. Now, speaking of labels, in 2022, the states, US, had passed a law that about labeling their non-GMO, so you know whether what you're having has genetically modified or not. So if it's non-GMO, it'll be like should be labeled. In Canada, that we don't have to. There's no labeling, so you have to really do your own research. So I found that super interesting. Like why, why? So if you're interested in finding more about non-GMO, there is a not-for-profit group that does help you navigate the GMO, and it's called non-GMOproject.org, which has tons of information, and some of the information I did get from there. So, which is pretty cool. So where else are they grown? So the genetically modified crops are grown mostly in the US, having 43%, and Canada is about 6%. So that's where majority are grown. So I know in Europe and some other, where is it? In Europe, Japan, Australia, labeling is mandatory on between the GMO and non-GMO foods. So I think that's they have the right idea. So, but so that's the interesting stuff that I had found on that. Now there's some other tips to kind of go with this is plant your own little garden, right?
Yeah. And too, you wonder why people are having so much insulin resistance, or their metabolic syndrome. There's such an issue with which helps. I mean, which is weight gain, right? With weight and they struggle with that. Well, GMO can cause the hypertension and the obesity, and so it kind of makes sense when you start looking at the research or whatever you can find, and with the correlation between what's happening in your body, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like when we say, we always say eat clean, and then sometimes we forget to look at what's genetically modified. So, close to nature, great, but now you got to go and like make sure it's certified organic. Now there is a little symbol that it'll say non-GMO on products. I would show it, but I try to do that, and I don't think it would show up very well on the screen, but it looks like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen it on some things, some products here, but yeah. So doing that, farmers markets, places that, you can get fresh produce and you support a local business.
Yeah. And if and if you do have stuff like, if you're taking shakes or anything like that, if you look for non-GMO, um, the stuff that I have,
Yeah.
the stuff that I have, there's no GMO. It's all non-GMO. So,
Right.
yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, we've said that, oh yeah, we, like the products that we use are no GMO, but then what the heck is no GMO, right?
Yeah, right.
So
Oh, okay, woohoo.
yeah, it's like, okay, great. It just means that you're not getting extra crap going
Yeah,
throughout your body, and
yeah, yeah.
you're kind of giving your body again the best outcome, the best chance to get healthy. And
Hmm.
if you're on the program and you're happy to be watching this, yeah, I mean, everything that we have is non-GMO, and if you're looking for, food, the meal replacement is really good. Like shake is really good because it is non-GMO. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah, it makes a difference. So hopefully you found this actually really interesting and found this valuable, because it really is interesting when you start researching, when you can find stuff, and like go on the site that Cheryl mentioned. And if you have any questions or suggestions for us, you can contact us right here in our
yeah.
socials.
Yeah, there's information. And always, if you have a question, or if you're watching a replay, you can put replay. We will see it, and then we can get back to you if you miss something, or if you want to know where we got our sources from, just and we'll give them to you. There's lots of, like, we go researching, so we don't know every answer, so we want to back our butt up. So
Back your
so
butt
we
up.
go researching, and this one was a little bit harder because we had to go digging, because I
Yeah,
wanted a doctor's perspective, a naturopath's perspective, and a little bit more in depth, because they deal with people's issues in gut health and disease, and trying to get back healthy more of a natural way. So it was definitely uh, hunting, and but
yeah,
I think the topic was really good because we learned stuff, and hopefully you did as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thanks for being with us. And whether you're live or in the recording, and to contact us to ask any questions you want, or if there's a topic you are interested in, just send us a message, and yeah, we'll do that too. So thanks for being here,
Yeah.
and we appreciate you. And have a good one.
All right. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.